all the chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation. When people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo, clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning for those who have just joined us, but if you've been with us all the way from 6:30, thank you very much for keeping it on UBC TV. Now it is time for our newsreel, and I'm joined by the Global Peace Ambassador, Milton Kambura, with whom we are going to be discussing the situation in South Africa. Now here we are seeing xenophobic attacks on migrants that are undocumented. And government of Uganda has made arrangements to repatriate Ugandans in South Africa, given their deadline of 30th of this very month. Milton, good morning and welcome to the show.
I'm very excited to be with you this morning, and I greet all Ugandans and Africans wherever you are. Let's love Africa.
Now, for the person who is hearing of Global Peace Ambassador Milton Kambura, one would want to know, what does the Global Alliance do? What does this organization do? And what is your role as the Global Peace Ambassador?
Our role is basically to promote peace and harmony and promote an innovative values-based approach to peace building globally. And our work is to make sure people are united beyond the boundaries of tribe, race, nationality, but also making sure that those countries respect human rights and justice. So our work, we are in partnership with governments, with several UN agencies, but most importantly working with nations to transform their education and support youth, talents, and the culture of patriotism.
Now, being an international organization, I'm quite sure you've been following the situation in South Africa. What do you make of this situation?
Really, it's unfortunate, my brother. It's unfortunate, my brother, that not until now, even up to now, we have not understood what the Africa's integration meant, because we have signed protocols, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, and all those pacts that will allow people to move across the continent. All heads of state at the African Union have signed different protocols, even at East African level, COMESA, IGAD, but these presidents do not understand their role in this process. It is unfortunate, and as Global Peace Foundation, we are talking to several leaders on the continent to make sure that President Ramaphosa does not allow his citizens in South Africa to continue chasing fellow Africans, as it frustrates the very objective of the and the upper side effort to liberate the black people, to be able to unite with the other people of different skin colors, to build a nation with a rainbow vision, which Nelson Mandela had envisioned and went to prison for 27 years. And when he led South Africa, we thought now South Africa will be a country of all races and nationalities, and Africans can also work there, as they had invested a lot of money to support the liberation. So the fruits, you can see them in the economy, $480 billion economy right now. And that comes with different talents from different people who have opened the industries and factories and the schools. And together we can build a very strong nation, as it is seen and inspired by the United States, which has more than $30+ trillion, but it welcomes all talents around the world. What is necessary is leadership that can unite all the tribes and nationalities and races and religions in South Africa. And political parties must rise up and stand against this, because as we stand, my brother, we cannot allow the 68-point-something million South Africans, among them 80% are black people, to actually look into the small segment and fight fellow black people. The issue would be immigration. The issue would be the Ministry of Internal Affairs to handle its administrative work. Not all South Africans the black people chasing fellow black people. Then we have not learned from the human rights efforts of Martin Luther King Jr., but also Mahatma Gandhi and Malcolm X, and even the United Nations Security Council. These resolutions, but also the United Nations Human Rights Declaration. So we are really against it, and Global Peace Foundation is recommending better ways to deal with the problem other than killing people, chasing people, beating people, grabbing people. And it is also in Uganda. When we talk about this, we think it's in South Africa. Afrophobia in Uganda, look at the way they treat these people, so-called people with Rwandese ancestry or connection. They think they are from Rwanda, yet they were born here. Yet they are
Kambura, notwithstanding your comparisons, however, what you are looking at is more severe than your comparison. So let's stay with the South African issue itself, which is a bigger problem than what you're trying to raise. Now, going back to the reasons they are giving, some of the leaders of this movement are saying these are taking on jobs the South Africans would be doing, and the South Africans are left jobless. Is this a reason that can be put forward in your own assessment, given the situation in South Africa, that indeed many South Africans are jobless and indeed many foreigners are having jobs?
Yes, you are very right. And the statistics that I have here from our library show that South Africa right now, the youth unemployment rate is 32%. And that's very, very high. And among this majority, actually more than 99% of this number are the black people. They are not empowered with a new educational frontier. Yet they claim to actually have liberated the country because they wanted equality and equal share on the national cake. The natural resources, however, have not gone back to them. Land is not yet in their hands. And the industrialization capacity of South Africa is not yet in their hands. So they are not creating jobs. So that is the problem. The educational curriculum of South Africa needs to be reformed so that it matches with the situation and it speaks to the problems that are in South Africa. So I want to say that unemployment is very high, but then the problem is not the battle and fighting of South Africans looking at these housekeepers, housemaids, these blacks that come from Zimbabwe, Ghana, Uganda, that try to go and work in the white man's factory to clean as messengers, office messengers. I think the problem should be bigger. We should look at this problem in a strategic way. Youth unemployment of the South Africans cannot be solved by how many foreigners from African countries are taking over jobs of cleaners, of security guards, of housemaids. Those are not really jobs that Nelson Mandela envisioned. We would be talking about industries, how many CEOs are running and managing companies and are running machines in factories that are really controlling the space of airspace. How many pilots are blacks in the airspace sector of South Africa? There are very few South Africans. Actually, there are very few in the South African Air Force. There are very few blacks. So this shows you that the problem is not actually the jobs, because these fellow Africans are going there to do petty jobs, very petty. They don't vote, they don't participate in the politics of South Africa, but I think it is just a matter of ignorance, and we are telling President Ramaphosa to actually use this opportunity to remind the world that indeed we should be able to be the examples. And a black person can never be a foreigner in Africa, in the African continent. And Ramaphosa, we have talked with him, and we will continue writing to him, and so we will also use his people, even the South African embassy, which we want to serve to this week, that please, should South Africa continue run a very serious campaign of actually aborting the buying of South African products. That is going to happen. Our partners have told us to tell the government of South Africa to actually live in peace and harmony. Otherwise, countries like Nigeria, Uganda, Kenya, Zimbabwe, all these countries are markets of South African products. MTN, for example, Stanbic Bank, look at them. Game Store, look at them. All these are multi-billion-dollar companies. So the small jobs that actually Africans, other blacks are taking in South Africa cannot quantify to even $200 million. Yet South Africa is mobilizing and getting more than $8 billion per year from each of these regions. So by all these people consuming South African services and products, MTN covers the whole of Africa. All of us, you are calling me on MTN line right now. We are using money, and who's benefiting? The South African. These are jobs, this is an economy, these are services, and if they want them to continue with this kind of rhetoric, then all Africans are going to abandon South African products, and that will immediately affect and even educate the black man and black woman in South Africa. The time has reached that we should focus on a borderless economy of Africa. We should open and break barriers of these colonial borders and have one currency, one economy, one police, one army, one embassy, one curriculum, one president. That's the direction which our President Museveni has been talking about, and his predecessors and his former leaders of Africa, like Kwame Nkrumah, talked about it. President Moi Kibaki talked about it. Even recently, President Kenyatta, before he left office, he talked about, Kagame has been talking about this. So we have no time. We have no time. We want media to break the barrier of all these things that have kept Africans apart. We should focus on uniting Africa. And for Africa to unite, that means an economy. That means industries will open. That means a market will open. Who is going to take their milk, to take their products? For example, more textile products. We need 1.4 billion Africans from the whole of Africa to dress up with clothes made in Africa. But so this rhetoric and poor mindset in leadership cannot work, because it will frustrate our dream to actually build industries in all African countries, feeding the 1.4 billion people. That's what America did. That's what China is doing. That's what South Africa is doing. South Korea did. That's what Japan did. They first had to unite their people. But this rhetoric and poor mindset in black people must end immediately, because the global north is looking at us as the source of raw materials. But they don't want to invest in our infrastructure.
Milton, we accept that this is inhuman, it is a violation of human rights, freedom of movement as well, for people under this continent. But we have a big issue also to look at. Issues of illegal migrants, undocumented people in many countries globally, including on the African continent. As the global peace ambassador, even if you have to put South Africa aside, we see USA, to an extent that Trump even had to build a very big wall just to address this issue of illegal migrants. How best can it be handled? People who come in the country, they are non-documented, they are staying there, they are working in that country. How can the world address this problem? But just remind our viewer, we have a poll question, and that is, as Uganda prepares to repatriate 746 citizens stranded in South Africa, what does this mean for the future of African integration? Please give us your views and opinions on our WhatsApp number or on our social media platforms. On X, we shall have you, and of course the WhatsApp number that is on your screen. We are looking forward to hear from your views. What does this mean to Africa's integration? Yes, Kambura, on issues of illegal immigrants.
Illegal immigrants is defined in the United Nations protocols as people who are illegally pursuing routes in forceful entry in countries without documentation. So here we are seeing thousands of Africans dying in the seas, pursuing dreams that they can go to United Kingdom or European countries through certain ports, through certain unacceptable, hard-to-reach corners of the world. But this is leaving many dead as the weather and also environmental consequences and security actually intensifies on them. So the problem, my brother, Mr. Chirabu, is that the problem is a weak administration and corruption. So one will ask, how can someone enter South Africa illegally? It's because South African immigration and Ministry of Internal Affairs is corruptible, because someone will come with his problems or with her problems and give a police office of immigration some money, $5, $10, even $100. Some pay even $1 million because they're in groups. So that is the problem. Then we have investors within those nations that actually want free labor or cheap labor. And so we are fighting a war we don't know. The problem may not be even Ramaphosa and his government. The problem can be that the billionaires in these nations, America, where even Europe, Britain, South Africa, they are big people, giants, that actually facilitate like business, like trade. Where should we get free labor? Where should we get slaves? Let me not fear it. Then they say we can identify them. They put up a mission, a campaign. Then people will be in trucks or in a bus at the border. Then a call will come from Mr. X, who's a billionaire, to a traffic officer or immigration officer. Please leave, those people are my relatives, and they are coming to visit. After visiting or meeting me, they'll go back to their country, but I need to address them tomorrow, but they are coming to my hotel. Are you listening to me? So this is how billionaires are actually clandestinely and secretly designing a well-planned activity which is illegal. So when you go to their factories, you find these people working. They don't have passports, they don't have birth certificates, they don't have national IDs, and yet they are using the roads there. When they get sick, they go to public hospitals. When they produce children, they go to those schools. And so the country budgets, but then the services seem to be very limited to the indigenous citizens of that country. So I don't support an illegal entry in countries. And that comment or the short put is on a weak Ministry of Internal Affairs that cannot adopt technology to actually monitor the movement of people at the borders and registration of citizens and non-citizens. Even in our country here, if you go to some of these factories, you find some Indians, for example. So it's actually very popular. Most of these people here, you find people from different countries that are here. They don't have visas. Those who have visas are expired. Others don't have passports. Others say, I was born here. You ask him, who's your grandfather? Tell me 5 grandfathers that have been here for 400 years. They don't even understand. They will just run away. But yet they are consuming our public services. They are using our roads, our hospitals, and the Ugandans don't have any public service. The scarcity, the demand is very high, but the people are not really served well. So for me, I will put the problem on the poor government. And some people even call presidents. I am telling you, I know one of the presidents in East Africa who received calls. Please, can you receive our refugees? But they need to come into the formal protocols. They just landed in some funny ports and airports, and they just entered the country. And that is bad leadership, because the citizen must know that in this country we have 1.2 million refugees. That we know Mr. Museveni has done a good job. And we thank him that at least Uganda knows that we have refugees, they live here, we are looking for money to feed them, we need funding. Museveni is an example. But we have countries that don't mind about that. That's why Trump, when he came in, he actually had to build a wall more than $1.6 billion billion, money that would have gone to transform education in America, and even reform the water supply system, which they are suffering, but he had to build a wall. Can you imagine? And even saying, all of you go back to your countries. Can you imagine? Because the Americans were saying, oh my God, we are no longer enjoying our country. Where do these people come from? Because
now,
they were
Kambura, when America did that, it is something you're praising. When Africans wake up and say, no, this we are not going to tolerate, it is wrong. Why do we see global double standards?
This is not double standard. It shows you, or it exposes a weak government. A weak government is seen by the problems it faces. How can in today's world, Mr. Chiramo, among the problems we face is that people are not known in the database of a government. How? That a country does not know its citizens and non-citizens. That shows you how much that cabinet ministers are all useless, presidents are useless, security is not doing their work, parliament is not doing their work, because in the 21st century, you just put drones on the borders. That's all. And so long as people have documents, they enter with the right.
But we have so many countries that have what we call porous borders, including our motherland. I can go to Tanzania through my grandfather's garden.
But then, when you say porous border, in today's world, we no longer have porous borders because technology has broken some of those terminologies. We no longer have any place that we cannot see, we cannot know, we cannot account. We can no longer say we don't know what is under the ground with the technology we have. People remain poor when we are sitting on gold and oil and diamonds. So it is all about poor leadership that looks at things from the surface. But yet the countries like Japan are living in the 2030. Can you imagine? There is nothing they don't know under the ground. They know where their citizens
Milton,
are.
I'm afraid in the interest of time, I must let you go. But before I do that, what solutions are you putting on table?
The solution I'm putting on table, my brother Kirabo, Nyonyi Ntono, is that all black people on the continent, time has reached right now for us to appreciate that we are one family. We are one family because our passport is actually, we are the most blessed people. Just look at our skin. You will just know this is a black man. That is your passport already. So what would be the focus right now is to eliminate the mindset of an African that he or she can be a visitor or a foreigner on any African territory. That should be the mindset every Ugandan and every African must have. Then secondly is to use our power of 1.4 billion people on the continent to unite around opening companies, industries, schools together. When you, not this mindset of opening a company only your children and your wife. You find the ministries for only one tribe. You go to the airport. So that mindset will not work. So for me, I feel that a Ugandan can go to South Africa or Kenya and work. This thing of arresting people that they are from another country, yet we have signed the declarations of presidents. This is not acceptable. African Union must talk, must align presidents on the continent to actualize the declaration that they have signed so that we have free trade, we have free movement of knowledge and technology. If a lawyer comes from Kenya and he has come to practice in Uganda, we cannot block him. And so I call upon people like General MK to actually convene all other generals to actually start discussing how can Africa have one army, then IGP into IGP, how can we have one police system to actually build one continental peace and security mechanism and the human rights promotion. Parliament, I expect Right Honorable both, yes, to organize a continental speakers summit where they are now saying, can we have one parliament, where laws can be actualized and implemented by all our citizens across the continent.
Well, Milton, thank you very much for your time. It has really been a pleasure having you via the phone. For Africans, and an African should feel safe in every part of this continent as long as they are not there illegally. Now, we have the Pan-African Parliament, we have the East African Parliament, and of course, we've had so many operations that are joint security operations. Look at how the African continent is promoting peace in Somalia and other countries. So we have made some steps towards having some areas where we work together as African countries in quite a number of fields. Well, let me just take a look at some of your comments that have come in. Now, good morning, Uganda. I'm really disappointed in South Africa deporting Africans from her country, and it's contrary to the unification of Africa. United States of Africa, total disagree to black community. Edson Moore, Hanji in Entebbe. Thank you so much, Edson, for watching. And of course, in the interest of time, let me just leave other comments at that. I'll be going for a short break. We'll return.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation. When people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get directors. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
The roar of motorcycle engines echoed across southern France as members of the Uganda Bikers Association rolled into the country on day 2 of their historic Europe Tour 2026. The riders arrived in Germany from Italy yesterday.
But now here, Chamonix.
This morning they set off for Switzerland, proudly flying the Ugandan flag across Europe. The journey is long and demanding, but the mission remains clear. Scheduled stopovers provide opportunities for water breaks, meals, and brief moments of rest before the riders continue on their route. Before the tanks run dry, the motorcycles are refueled, ensuring a smooth and uninterrupted ride.
You know, Munyachi's special envoy.
Riding under the banner, the Pearl on wheels, the team was officially received in France and flagged off by Uganda's ambassador to France, Doreen Ruth Amule. She joined the bikers in celebrating Uganda's rich tourism potential and the growing role of citizen diplomacy in promoting the country's image abroad.
Thank you so much for choosing a path of being proud of our country.
At every stop, the Pearl shines, shares love, and Uganda roars. According to the association, the expedition aims to inspire more visitors to discover Uganda's unique wildlife, vibrant culture, breathtaking landscapes, and renowned hospitality.
Raving in the Alps, in Switzerland, in Austria, Germany, France. We want people here to understand the people of Uganda, our heritage, our culture, the people.
This is the first time we are taking a ride outside of Africa. So these are the things we do to relax, to get away from the stress of daily living, and we hope to take forward the message of Uganda.
We think Uganda is underestimated. Uganda is not much known by some people, especially in the rural places like Chamonix, where we are right now. But the idea here is for us to showcase Uganda, enjoy our passion of riding, and share the brotherhood and sisterhood.
Organized by the Uganda Bikers Association in partnership with the Uganda Tourism Board, the tour began on June 22nd and will run until July 3rd. The expedition will take Ugandan riders through several European countries as they promote tourism, strengthen international friendships, and positively represent Uganda on the global stage. Their message remains clear: Uganda is open, welcoming, and ready to be explored. Edi Ulwa, UBC News.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
The Uganda bikers for riding and riding on the wheels all the way to the extreme ends of this world. Thank you very much. It's very interesting. I just wish I was part of that team. But of course, we have to serve Ugandans. Now let's go to business, where Democratic Republic of Congo cock farmers fight back against militia theft. Now, in the eastern DRC, years of conflict have turned cocoa into a commodity that often fuels armed groups as militia target remote plantations and steal harvests to finance their operations. Some farmers, however, are refusing to abandon their livelihoods. Instead, they are organizing to protect their land and crops by forming community patrols to safeguard one of the region's most vulnerable industries. Let's take a look at this.
These young men and women in uniform are guards employed by the Virunga Origins Company in Beni Province. They specialize in patrolling the local cocoa plantations on the northern edge of Virunga National Park and call themselves field guards. Day and night, they watch over the fields, armed with only batons and handheld two-way radios, and alert farmers of the slightest suspicious movement.
We joined this program for our own good and we are doing a good job. We are now managing to catch thieves and subdue them, just as Virunga trained us to do. We anticipate all their maneuvers to prevent them from getting past us.
Cocoa farming is a major driver of the local economy here, with many families heavily dependent on the revenue. Yet for several seasons now, their livelihoods have been threatened by repeated thefts, forcing farmers to take matters into their own hands and devise several ways to save their crops.
The cocoa we grow is purely seasonal. We harvest on the 15th and 30th of every month. But sometimes when we arrive at the fields to harvest, we find that thieves have already stolen everything. So we've started coming from time to time to pick up whatever is close to ripeness.
And they say the different initiatives are already beginning to bear some fruit. Across several villages, farmers have seen a drop in thefts. But everyone recognizes that this community-led approach alone cannot guarantee lasting security. And the cooperatives representing local farmers also have another concern.
When the ponds start to show signs of ripening, the farmer is forced to harvest them for fear of thieves. Sometimes people tell us this is to protect the cocoa, but it's not a good method because cocoa that hasn't reached maturity will automatically be of poor quality, and this will hurt exports in the long term.
While the initiative is restoring hope to communities in Beni, cocoa producers are still banking on more support from authorities. But for now, they can keep farming with some peace of mind, knowing that their investment is more secure than before. David Mbidi, CGTN.
And with a story from CGTN, now let's move to Cote
In
d'Ivoire.
Abidjan,
Embraces electronic vehicles. Electronic vehicles are gaining attraction in Cote d'Ivoire, particularly in the ride-hailing sector, as drivers look to reduce operating costs and cut emissions. Now, many say switching from petrol-powered cars has lowered their daily expenses by up to 40%. While the transition is gathering pace, the sector still faces challenges, including limited charging infrastructure.
Abidjan, many ride-hailing drivers using platforms such as Yango are choosing Chinese-made EVs, which they say offer long driving ranges, lower maintenance costs, and great comfort. However, the lack of charging stations and specialized repair centers continue to slow wider adoption.
In my opinion, Chinese electric vehicles are of excellent quality. They are fast, durable, and comfortable. The batteries have a long lifespan, and the air conditioning is excellent. My vehicle, for example, can travel around 400 kilometers on a single charge, which lasts me a week. Electric vehicles require no special maintenance, as there are no oil changes to perform. The only challenges are the lack of specialized repair shops and charging stations. This is why we are asking the Ivorian government to address the situation by increasing the number of charging points and repair shops.
Dealerships such as Huanyu Auto and distributors like Sino Africa are expanding the availability of EVs designed for both private and commercial use. Electric SUVs and sedans are becoming increasingly common in showrooms across Abidjan as dealers seek to meet growing demand.
Our Chinese electric cars are well regarded in the market, though they face competition from fuel-powered vehicles such as the Jetua and Chang'an models. In my professional opinion, this is based on two factors. Firstly, on the deliveries we have made, and secondly, on the market rate. In my professional opinion, the government has the capacity to supply adequate equipment for these vehicles. Furthermore, they have the potential to enhance environmental relations and transform the entire landscape for electric cars.
The Ivorian government is supporting the country's transition to cleaner transport.
Its goal is to have EVs make up to 10% of the public administration fleet by 2030, helping reduce fossil fuel consumption and greenhouse emissions.
We now have a fleet of more than 2,000 electric vehicles. Just 2 years ago, Côte d'Ivoire's electric vehicle fleet stood at around 400 units. Our aim is to install a minimum of 500 or 600 charging points, or even 1,000. Once our current project is implemented, it will enable the installation of 300 solar-powered charging points nationwide. Our target is to have 5,480 vehicles by 2035.
Analysts say the economic benefits are already clear, with the electricity costs falling to less than half for the 349-kilometer journey between Abidjan and Bouaké. Some manufacturers have also begun assembling EVs locally to make them even more affordable. Sharon Baranga, CGTN.
We protect our environment, electronic motorcycles, electronic vehicles, something that is being embraced by so many countries on the African continent. But of course, with so much when it comes to infrastructure, more in charging these batteries. I've seen so many people having such motorcycles back home here in Uganda, all the time having challenges of where to charge from, and the few places that are available, very congested. Someone takes hours to be able to charge that battery for their motorcycle. But it is the way to go, as it is very protective of our environment. Let's go for this break. When we return, we'll be looking at an operation to crack down on illegal buildings by KCCA. Keep it with us.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Alright, listen up. Colgate is on a mission. It's kind of a big thing. Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature turf and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth. New Colgate Herbal with Salt combines traditional nature's herbs with a pinch of salt and Colgate Science. A natural recipe for strong teeth and healthy gums.
My question is, and income tax. How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation. When people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza Commissioner.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. Channels spanning 27 languages. They stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Juko. Yo. What you go? Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Hi, I'm called Baka, and welcome to Kiswahili Kimoja. Let's look at some more vegetables. Tuangalie mboga zaidi. Tini, beetroot. Dada anatengeneza juisi ya tini. Dada anatengeneza juisi ya tini. Sister is making beetroot juice. Tango, cucumber. Shangazi anatafuna tango. Shangazi anatafuna tango. Aunt is chewing a cucumber. karoti, karoti, carrot. Mwalimu anabeba karoti. Mwalimu anabeba karoti. The teacher is carrying carrots. Nyanya, nyanya, tomato. Mama amenunua nyanya. Mama amenunua nyanya. Mother has bought tomatoes. Good job. Kazi nzuri. Remember, the more you practice, the easier it gets. See you next time. Tutaonana tena.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Welcome to Good Morning Uganda Agenda. I'm Robert Chirabonyonyintono, and we are going to be discussing something very interesting this morning with the Public Relations Officer, Kampala Capital City Authority, Daniel Neowabine, with us. Daniel, good morning.
A very, very good morning, Chirabu.
Happy to have you this morning. Now, we are going to be looking at something KCCA talks about as illegal buildings in the city. And to begin with, let our viewer know what is termed as an illegal structure according to KCCA.
Well, the laws of Uganda describe what is legal and what is illegal. Every structure that comes up must follow, one, the Physical Planning Act. The Physical Planning Act directs us on how to utilize space. If it is an area, it has its plan. There are bungalows planned for there are 3 stories or high-rises planned for. Or can you use a piece of land to put up a school? Can you use it to put up a factory? Can you use the piece of land to put up a hospital? That is space use. Whether what you want to construct fits in a particular place that you want it to be built in. Then after the space use, there comes the structure itself. The structure itself is prescribed under the Building Control Act. The Building Control Act regulates or prescribes how a building should be constructed. If it's a bungalow, what is the size of the window? What is the height from the floor to the roof? If it is an elevated structure, for example, a storage building, who are required? You need a structural engineer, you need a civil engineer, you need an electrical engineer. What is entailed in that building that you're constructing? Now, unfortunately, most of the properties that come up do not have these, or do not fulfill these requirements. And some people use middlemen to come to KCCA, and others use work people to help them process and regularize these papers without actually coming to KCCA. Some of them, when they interface with KCCA, they don't fulfill all the requirements, or most of the requirements under the law to enable them to start construction. Now, any structure that comes up under circumstances that do not conform to the Physical Planning Act, the Building Control Act, you find that they have had challenges. If you look at most of the building collapses we have had in the city, it is as a result of not being supervised. Now, KCCA cannot supervise or support the supervision of a structure that has not been. You find that we are losing money by proprietors who put up buildings without supervisions or without the right supervisors. We are losing lives because these structures end up collapsing, and we are losing credibility of our structures because they are not standing the test of time. So SCC has come out and we have put out notices. We have made appeals to developers, to architects, to engineers, and to all those who work on sites, that before you get onto a site, first make sure that that site has a signboard, number one, which signboard shows that this is the project, this is the project engineer, this is the project architect, this is the source of the funds, and this is the permission number from KCCA. Then you proceed and work on that site. If we find you on a site that does not have permission, all of you from the engineer be apprehended to explain to us why you're putting up an illegality in the city.
Now that sounds very interesting, but it brings a question to you, Daniel.
Yes.
Why do you think people, with all this knowledge, because putting up a structure in Kampala, most of the times, for people who have money and really have knowledge on certain things, what is deterring them from doing the right thing? And they end up setting up buildings. We see many collapse. A storage building, a building worth billions of money, carving in. And then you attribute this to not having gone through the right procedure. Why are people not coming to you? What is scaring them there or preventing them?
Well, we have some people coming to us, but we also have a number of people with the vice of shortcuts. The vice of not reaching the way of themselves. We have people who believe that if they don't go through middlemen, they will never get what is rightly theirs. And so they end up doing corrupt tendencies or engaging in corrupt tendencies that do not help them at all. What we have done as KCCA, we have simplified the process of obtaining the very limited interface with our officers. Because when you interface with officers, there is a likelihood of human interactions being compromised. But also, we have made it clear in our service level standards that when you bring a plan, within 30 days there is a response. Within 60 days, you must have an approval. And the timelines are very clear. But we have also had the challenge of quack persons masquerading or holding out as architects, as engineers, and they compromise the sanctity of these professions. Now, because of that, we have had people that come in with the people they call engineers. Some of them, they call themselves engineer. You have had someone on the site saying, engineer Tadiu. The man comes and masquerades and calls himself an engineer, not an engineer. And he says in the Chinonchizimba. Some of them end up building in the night. And also because developers want to build very fast once the money is there. They compromise on the timelines required. For example, for a slab to cure, slabs cure in at least 28 days. But someone, after 14 days, say today, let us shift the scaffolds to another level. And in that way, the building is weak, it has not yet settled, it has not yet bound together, and the thing caves in. By an engineer registered by the Engineering Registration Board, who can only be gotten or who can put their signature on a structure that has gone through the entire process. If this person was following the direction of an architect and who is registered under the architect's body, this person would not do that because the architect has a duty to conform to the standards. The engineer equally has a duty to conform to the standards. And if they don't, then they are punished. But these guys who oversee these structures do not have anyone or anywhere where they are accountable to. And in that case, they cause loss of property, loss of life, and loss in the industry.
Now, rightly said, the unprofessionalism and shortcuts, but you have improved the system to quicken or make it more expeditious for someone longing to ensure that they are in conform with the law. Now, let's also look at your enforcement as well.
Yes.
It is very hard, and I must say, for someone to construct a building and it reaches to roofing without your personnel having visited that site. How come we still see big buildings not very far from main roads, very visible, and once these buildings are down, people have lost lives? Then KCCA comes up and says, we did not give them authority. Yet any Ugandan will tell you that in the 5 divisions of Kampala, even if you set a foundation on Sunday evening, by tomorrow your people will be there to ask, what is the plan? How best do you explain this situation?
Well, one is that yes, we have our staff, our colleagues, who go out to do these inspections.
And very active.
Very actively. Now, once a building has started, under the law, it is the first action is to issue a stop order. And the law prescribes the steps that you take in order. One, demolish a structure. But we also have instances whereby someone has been given a stop notice, and out of impunity, they continue. We have situations where we have issued a stop notice, and in the middle of the night, after the teams have left and gone to equally rest, like most people do, these guys start now pouring the sand and constructing in the middle of the night. By the time you realize, by the time you go to the end of one division and back to another, the structure is up. Then you issue another stop notice. And when you order for a demolition, for example, they can easily, they have avenues of going to court to redeem themselves. And once a matter is before court and they have sought an injunction against you, you cannot do any action. So there is need for a legal review. Allowing the urban authority, once it has established that this is a nuisance, immediately demolish that nuisance.
Now,
and not to go through these process, not to go through these processes. We live in a land of laws, Chiramo. And there are processes. Even if I found you in the wrong, you have been found in the presumption is that you're innocent. But surely, if there is a structure that is existing there and it is illegal, should it remain standing when it is an illegality, or should you break it down? The law says that you first find this person, what you're going to do. Me and you, in our ordinary state, we would say let's remove it immediately. But if you do that, you'll find problems. You look at the railway, for example. People go to the land of the railway, they put up makeshift structures without authorization. When the structures were demolished, now we have to pay a lot of money in terms of what? Compensation. So sometimes to save the taxpayers' money and to ensure that we reduce liability of the government, we do the right thing.
Now,
and that's to follow the law. But what I know is that the law is not static. We are following certain amendments. We have now some amendments that have come through, especially under the Building Control Act. The members of the building committee have changed, and now the technocrats can move in swiftly to do certain roles and to do certain approvals. And now what is next is also ensuring that some of these anomalies or lacunas within the law are sorted. Otherwise, for the citizen, it is, and whoever is listening or watching this television, it is a huge loss for you to construct without permission. And now under the law, you will be fined per square meter of what you have constructed under the amended Building Control Act. You will be fined per square meter of what you have built if it does not conform to the building standards or if you have not obtained permission for it. So it is very costly for anyone not to follow the law. It is very costly in terms of money, in terms of life, and in terms of credibility of that construction site that you're putting up. Because ultimately, you'll need an occupation permit. If, for example, you're going to rent this property to an international company, you're going to rent this property to send people, they will require you to have an occupation permit. You will never have insurance for your structure if it does not have an occupational permit. And how would you get an occupational permit? Is after you have fulfilled all the processes from the commencement of the structure up to the point when it is ready to be occupied. So, it is very expensive, and it makes your property worthwhile if you have a construction permission.
Very interesting. No wonder that explains why quite a number of businesses or buildings that go down either by fire or any natural calamity here in Uganda, you find that they are not insured, because what it takes for that building to be could be quite very hard for many Ugandans to think of doing so. But let's also look at some scenarios as the public relations officer of this authority. Two things, Daniel, that I've witnessed, and I don't know if they have come to your attention. One, you talked of the word impunity, where I've followed certain issues where a pickup has come, they have all the force to apply and stop a site. And by a mere phone call out. But I've also seen and witnessed incidents where, regarding
you have seen that?
Yes, and these are common things, and many Ugandans, if I'm to open phone calls, They will tell you.
You should report such incidences immediately.
So as the spokesperson of KCCA, your enforcement team on ground has never told you places they have gone to and they have been directed to leave?
Let me now, my brother Chiravo, when you see someone exchanging money on a thing like a structure or on anything, please report. And now I know you have very, very powerful phones. You take a picture of them, don't fear, be the hero. Report such instances and you shall act immediately. We have a policy of zero tolerance of corruption. Please report to us where money has been exchanged or where you have seen it being exchanged. We shall act immediately.
So you've not received such reports of alleged corruption when it comes to the enforcement teams that go to sites they have gone to enforce and you've not received reports of...
It is good you're calling it alleged. The allegations are there. But for us to act on them, we need men like you and women who associate with you to report such incidences and come out as witnesses so that we curb this vice. But if people allege and say, they hate the money, and they don't come out to be witnesses, then it is very difficult for us to apprehend someone without evidence. So that evidence is very, very important. Even if you're the one who is in the wrong, but you love your country and you want it to grow, please report such an instance. For us, what we can do on our end is, one, apprehend such a person, but also ensure that we expedite the process of you getting the permit. And yet it is very cheap to obtain these permits.
What is the procedure like that you call cheap?
Now, one, you need an architect and an engineer. And once you have your structures,
an architect, an engineer,
yes,
those are two professionals.
Yes. Now, and the fees they charge usually for someone who is going to construct are acceptable because these have been researched and reviewed by the professional bodies and they're there. So once you're going to do, after you have done your plans and everything, you upload them. You don't even bring them, you upload them onto the system. We have a system called IRAS, which helps us to process our permissions. So you upload them on the system. Once you have uploaded them, then the internal system starts the reviews, the technical review, the physical planning committee, and then they give you feedback on the system.
Very interesting.
So your interaction with our people, whom you may fear that these ones may do this, is very, very limited. And if you do the right thing, if they ask you that increase this elevation, adjust here, adjust there, and you do it, you have your plan. You know what? No time.
Do you have any charges that are standard? That, for example, approval of plan, this is the amount of money, or this is that?
Yes, it is per square meter. The fees are per square meter. And if you get onto our website, you'll find a copy of the Physical Planning Regulations and the Physical Planning Act, the Building Control Act and the Building Control Regulations, which prescribe the fees that are payable in any of the circumstances or with whichever service you would want from the Urban Authority, from KCCA.
Well, very interesting there on how...
But Chirabo, I must also use this opportunity to allow people to do advertising businesses that erect billboards without permission. Billboards are structures that need permission. We have seen those that put billboards with the country rivers, the ones that stretch into the road. We are going to remove these things. And we are asking the owners to remove them before we come after them. Let them start acting fast, because the trouble is that billboard can collapse anytime. One,
many have.
It is, and some have before. So we are saying, do the right thing. Get the permission, and those that are not accepted, please don't insist to put them up, because you lose a lot of money. Putting up a billboard is about 150 million. Then KCC comes and puts it down, confiscates, and eventually you will not stand up and they will auction your metal. So why do you go into an illegality? And we're also appealing to the companies that advertise with these advertisers that you're equally responsible for having these billboards remain up, because you're making it lucrative for them to build an illegality. Before you ask the advertising company to put up your advert, ask them for KCCA permission. Otherwise, it is your brand that is going to come down, that is going to be affected.
Now, Daniel, you've talked about efforts now to crack down. Are you going to officially launch? Has it started?
It has already started. Last week, you saw what happened. We found some guys putting up a billboard illegally in Muyenga. The person who had brought them in a crane ran away, so they remained up on the billboard for a few hours, and we had to improvise to help them down. But should we get to that? No.
Now, going back to the buildings themselves, you've already said we shall crack down, we shall crack down. Today you're saying we are again going to crack down.
Not we are going to, we are cracking down. We are present, but present continuous.
But you seem to be targeting silverfish. Yet you have the Nile perch, you have the crocodiles therein.
Now, you wait and see this week.
We've seen funny buildings. Yes, you're quick to go. But these storage buildings, we are not seeing you going for these, you know.
We are going for them, and we are going to continue going. This vice of irregularly putting up structures is stopped. And we have an orderly development of our city. That one, there's no compromise about it. There is no two ways about it. We need to develop this city in an orderly manner.
No doubt.
Otherwise it will be very, very difficult to move in a city. Suppose you have seen high-rises coming up, and the police doesn't have its plan, because before you get an occupation permit, also the police ought to have that plan. What if, and I am not a prophet of doom or anything, what if anything happens in that building and the police needs to rescue? And the police needs to rescue someone. They need to have a copy of that plan. The police must never guess, or the security forces must never guess. So the elevation or the building of properties without plans is also a security matter. It compromises the security of all those that are involved.
Now, going back to these operations,
yes,
most of the times I've seen these, are they on site? KC has been able to impound wheelbarrows, spades, and then you go ahead and get these boys brought from wherever they have been brought, to carry sand around, to carry cement around. But it's rare to hear of an owner or proprietor of a structure, or even the engineer arrested by KCCA. Why is it hard? Day in, day out, I see them but stay whole, and all you have are these boys brought from the village, given portioned bins at a certain site to be there for some good time as building goes on. But I've not seen Ntio Mugaga, I've not heard that headline, a tycoon, before these courts over these buildings. Neither have I seen an engineer and an architect, but day in, even today, I know you're bringing to court boys you picked from sites.
Now, everybody, irrespective of whether you are a Mugaga or a Muslim or a importer, as long as you're involved in an illegality, must be brought to book. Now, yes, the Mugaga may run, the Mugaga may not show up, but certainly there are summons against the Bagaga. And those summons against the Bagaga, with the help of the Uganda police force, we shall catch them. And once we catch them, bring them to book. We may not publicize everyone that we catch. We may not publicize them. You want to hear a name of a big Mugaga, but usually big Mugaga do not do things out of the law. It is those second tier and third tier Mugaga that usually do not follow the law.
Daniel, this time around, why should Ugandans take you serious?
Because we are serious.
Because this has been a common song. Some have become complacent. Why should you? Why should we even take you serious that this time, yes, Casey says, what new thing are you going to do? Because we've had this for years.
Fortunately, government has supported all urban authorities by reviewing and modifying the building code. This came out earlier this year, in about March, when we had it assented to, and now it is under operation. So we have a new committee in place, one that is not interfered with by politics, but is constituted of technical persons. That will go a long way in helping us. One, or the speed at the technicality or the technical ease with which we assess and issue permissions, the monitoring, the sanctions are provided for in there, as well as any other activity that may need to be addressed immediately. Something comes up. So we have a new law that has put up a new committee. We have a new commitment to ensure that we do not stay in our old state.
And that being said, the new law, yes, that's something really reasonable for Ugandans to believe and hope that we are going to see buildings, only those that are worth and they have satisfied all the requirements of the law. But also, Daniel, let's look at, you've talked of two professions that are very critical, the engineers and the architect.
Engineer and the architect.
Now, these are must-have before even you commence any building.
Because they're the ones who have studied these things of constructing. You and I at level do not have the capacity to know what a solid building is like, or what a credible structure is like. We do not have that capacity. So we need to make use of these professions in order to you have buildings or structures that are not compromised.
Now, these are people who want to get these jobs and quicken. But you hinted on the middlemen. Pardon me. On the middlemen. Now,
yes.
How are you reducing these middlemen? Common. But when you go to divisions,
yes,
these middlemen are so many, readily available, and at times many make things work more than when you go through the normal channels. I'm sorry to say that.
They don't make things work. They make things worse. A middleman, one, increases the cost.
That is true, but they expeditiously deliver at times. Have you thought of that?
They increase the cost of doing business.
True.
One, and the second one is that people will be confused on the actual process. They hide the facts from you. Eh? It's more time that is taken. Eh? Because if you don't have the actual money, that the money that they have asked for that is beyond the actual, you'll have a problem because you're looking for that money. And three, there is a very, very high risk of you getting into shortcuts and compromising on the right thing. That cost of compromising your structure may not be written in your books, but because you have gotten an approval without following the right channels, you realize that in 3 years of your construction, when the dam is raising, when an earthquake comes and the building cracks. So, middlemen are a risk, unless they are professional middlemen. If it is an architect, because an architect is a profession,
yes,
that can support your construction. If it is an engineer, they have a name to protect, so they will have to do the right thing in time, because they also need their projects to run and they get another project. But you find a Sewa Kambo, a Daniel in Wabine on the street, and you say that in Wabine you process for me. When Wabine tells you that I know the people in KCC, I can process these things for you. You are in trouble, my friend. But even when telling now the proprietors that even if you're using an engineer, even if you're using an architect, also follow up. And we are also, when responding to applications, now we are going to start emailing both the Mugaga and the contractor. The Mugaga is the one who is investing the money, has to get an email or a response of what is going on this site. But also, the engineer has to get that response. Such as these two people get the information at the same time. Once they get the information at the same time, and the engineer or the architect fails to give feedback, the appropriate feedback to the developer will also know. So if this one says that the people in KCCA want $1 million shillings or 10 million shillings, the developer will be able to know that, no, all we want is an adjustment. All we want is an adjustment to fulfill a certain standard in your property.
Well, that sounds good if at all it is fully implemented. Now, Daniel, I must let you go, but let me just have your parting shot.
Citizens of Kampala and the developers especially, please follow the law. It is very costly for you not to follow the law, especially in as far as your development is concerned. The process has been made simple. Our teams are there to support you. The law has put in place rewards and sanctions to ensure that those who come through the process are supported through frequent supervision, but sanctions that those who have not come through the process are given a stick by apprehending them and making them pay heavily. For those who have billboards and who are putting up billboards for advertisement, ensure that you follow the law, get permission. Even the companies that are advertising on these billboards must ensure that they have permission, or they ask their advertisers. Otherwise, it is their brands that will be affected. If you have a building and it is old, we have given you notice of repainting it, please repaint it. If you have a frontage where we have done the roads and it is mud, please pave it. In that way we shall reduce. That will be significantly reduced.
Well, thank you so much, Daniel Nuwabine, who is the spokesperson of Kampala Capital City Authority. We've been looking at KCCA plans to crack down on illegal buildings. Now, those are buildings that did not seek approval, that the proprietors did not seek approval from KCCA to have them. He says it's not going to be business as usual, with also a new law in place. So wherever you are and you're planning to set up a structure, please ensure you do not dance to the tune when the law enforcers come your way. We'll go for a break. Keep it with us.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation. When people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.